So I already talked much about the New Kingdom. And then after this Hyksos rule, there finally came the New Kingdom. And the New Kingdom lasted for about 500 years, from 1550 BC to around 1050 BC. And this New Kingdom, this was the most powerful time of Egypt. Egypt was their real superpower, and it was kind of the golden age of ancient Egypt. So until the 17th dynasty, in the 17th dynasty, the kings Seqenenre and Kamose, they start to fight against King Apopus from Hyksos. And these kings from the 17th dynasty, they are also kings from Thebes. That means in the new kingdom, Thebes also played a very important role. And then in the 18th dynasty, what the 7th dynasty began was completed, namely expelling the Hyksos under King Ahmose. And beginning from the 18th dynasty, Egypt became the leading power in the Middle East region. And during the time of the 18th dynasty, it was also the world's richest state. And therefore, this 18th dynasty, of course, the 4th and the 12th dynasty are also very important, but the 18th dynasty is known to be the most powerful dynasty of ancient Egypt. So, the 18th dynasty. The first king was Ahmose the First. Ahmose was the actual unifier of the new kingdom. He completed the work of expelling the Hyksos and conquered all the other city-states and made one united Egypt again. And then he also implemented a new foreign policy. Now, Egypt had experienced two intermediate periods. And then the kings in the Middle Kingdom already tried to prevent an intermediate period by expanding more and more into Nubia and into Palestine. But that didn't work. So the new idea in the New Kingdom was that the Egyptian kings should completely conquer Nubia and completely conquer also the Levante. Because from the Levante they came the Hyksos, from Nubia, when Nubia also gets strong, it's very dangerous for Egypt. And then until now, Egyptians only tried to have like some influence there or make some trade bases there or military bases there, but that the Egyptians realized that this form of foreign politics is not enough. It must be much more aggressive, so really expanding Egypt aggressively into Nubia and into the Middle East region in order to prevent the core Egyptian country to be conquered by the enemies. So, and as I said, in order to accomplish this, they used the weapons and the technological advancements that were brought by the Hyksos now against the Hyksos and against the neighboring countries. And because of this new idea that it is not only enough to expel the foreign people, but also to occupy their home countries, so to occupy Nubia, occupy the Levante, this led to an increased militarization of the Egyptian society. And this is also the reason why the new kingdom can be characterized as an empire that was constantly at war with its neighbors. We can see this also in this time because the king now invented a new crown. So we have here the pshent. This is the old crown, the of Lower and Upper Egypt. But then the king also started to wear this. This is the blue crown. And this blue crown stands for the soldier's helmet. And this shows that military conquerings and that military, this had now, in the king's point of view and also in Egyptian society, a very high standing now. So military was very important for the Egyptians in the New Kingdom. What was the view of the Egyptians in the New Kingdom about the Hyksos time? The Hyksos have a very bad reputation in the New Kingdom because of three reasons. First, because it was a rule without Re. And that means the Egyptian gods were not ruling over Egypt. There was no Egyptian king managing Egypt. So there was chaos, and there was no Maat. And this is, and because Maat, so justice and order, this principle, because this was very important for the Egyptians, and this, they thought that the second intermediate period, because Maat was not existent there, this is a very bad time. And then secondly, they also disrespected the Hyksos, because the Hyksos had no respect to the Egyptian gods. And in the New Kingdom, it was, they made the religious laws even stricter, that everybody who was slightly against Egyptian gods, he got death penalty. And then third, they thought very badly about the Hyksos because they thought they have no culture. They just adopted the Egyptian culture. They are cultureless and uncivilized. And therefore, they thought this Hyksos period is a very bad period. The second king of the 18th dynasty was Amenhotep I. In the web and also in the books, you frequently also read the name Amenophis, but this is also the same. I will say Amenhotep I. Amenhotep I began what his predecessor started and continued it. So he conquered Nubia to the third Nile cataract, in order to completely control Nubia and take down the Nubian danger once and for all. He also advances to Syria, so he begins to conquer the Levante area, but he does not want to risk war with Mitanni, the kingdom I introduced to you earlier, so he doesn't advance that much. And Thutmose I and Thutmose II, they continued Amenhotep I's work, so they even destroyed the capital city of Nubia and extended the influence of Egypt to the fifth Nile character. So Nubia was in this time completely conquered. And then, when we talk about Amenhotep I, we need to talk about the Valley of Kings. Many people know, especially the name. Valley of Kings is very well known. There are also many ruins today that one can visit and see. And the Valley of Kings was grounded on the new idea that there should be no pyramids built anymore, but hidden graves in rocks. But because the problem with the pyramids were, they showed the mightiness of the pharaoh, of the king, but they were visible for everybody. And in the bad times, especially in the intermediate periods, the tomb raiders came and took all the valuable materials of that and the offerings to the king in order to use them or sell them so that they could have money. As you can also see, the state of the pyramids is not that good anymore. So when the times were bad, the people just used the stones from the pyramids in order to build their own houses. And the kings now, they wanted to prevent that. So they had this new idea that we should build hidden tombs in the rocks, so that which are hidden and which can't be easily discovered, so that we prevent the tomb raiders coming and taking all the valuable goods from the tombs. And this is the reason why the Egyptian kings in the New Kingdom started to build the Valley of Kings. And then, but the Egyptian kings still wanted the Egyptian kings still wanted the people to bring to them offerings. So what they now invented was that they not only built the rock tomb, but they built a second building, the mortuary temple. And in the mortuary temple, this was visible for everybody. There, the people could bring all the offerings and treasures and valuable goods that the king, when he died, when he lived his life after death, needed. But now the people actually didn't have to go to these hidden rock tombs. And in this way, the Egyptian kings thought their tombs could be protected. And then the kings still, additionally, they continued to extend the Amun temple in Karnak. And therefore, in the new kingdom, each king wanted to build 3 buildings in his lifetime. He wanted to build his own tomb, he wanted to build his mortuary temple, and he wanted to extend the Karnak temple of Amun. So, and what the thinking of each king was, when I have built these 3 buildings, I can rest in peace. Yeah, and when we take a closer look, when we take a closer look at the mortuary temple and the rock tomb of the king, we see on the outer, so in the mortuary temple, what everybody can see. We see the achievements of the king. So how great the king is, what he has done, what he has conquered, and how good he has been to the people. And in the inner, so in the rock tombs, this is, for example, a picture of the tomb of Ramesses II. We can see the relationship of the king to the gods and to his family. So here in the inner, all the hidden stories of the kings or all the family stories, they are written down there. And what was also new was that the Egyptian, so this is now part of the mortuary culture again. The Egyptians, they also already knew that there are too many sins. There would be too many offerings that they needed to offer when they wanted to cleanse themselves from all the bad things they did. So they just invented a new thing to their mortuary culture and to Egyptian religion. They invented this death book. And in the death book, they could write down all their sins, and having this death book made it possible for the kings to deny all sins when they stood before Osiris. And in this way, they could give Osiris this death book and say, "I'm cleansed from all sins," and therefore go into the realm of the dead. This is also another picture. Here we see how the procedure was when they stood before Osiris. So Osiris weighed the life of the king or the life of the Egyptian against a feather. When the Egyptian was weighed more than the feather, then he was not able to enter the realm of the dead of Osiris. But when he was lighter than the feather, this meant that he had lived a justified life, and could enter the realm of Osiris. And the death book, so now this is the role of the death book. The role of the death book was to make the person lighter, to lighten them from all sins by denying all sins, that they're all forgiven, I have not done them. With Amenhotep I, Thutmose I, II, and now with King Hatshepsut, we enter the golden age of Egypt.